Good morning, fellow debt slayers. It's Stephen Gallagher with Debt Free Results. A happy Labor Day Monday to everyone, and I hope that everyone is having a very restful, long weekend. Tomorrow is the beginning of a new week, but the highlight of that is that it's going to be a short week. So I hope that that's the silver lining around everyone's clouds. So I'm a trained and certified Ramsey financial debt coach, and I help people build plans to get out of debt. And that could include credit card debt, it could include personal debt, bank notes, medical, tuition, car, mortgage. It doesn't matter. And I help people and follow along in the Ramsey baby step process. I've been a certified and trained debt coach since 2017, 18. And this process has helped millions of people get out of debt. Yep. Millions of people get out of debt. In fact, here's the different baby steps right here. There are 7 of them, and I'll go over them shortly. But it is a proven process, and it is a process that people either like or they don't like. It's a process that really keeps your feet to the fire, and you can't move forward to the next baby step until you've completed, the first baby step. So, with my help and with my guidance and expertise, I can help you build a plan, understand where your debt is, and show you a path with dates associated to that plan as to when and how to get out of debt. It's not going to be easy. I work with a lot of clients, and some of them stick to the process, and some people, fall off the wagon, so to speak. But then they get right back on because they've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. So I just wanted you to know a little bit about myself. Remember, Debt Slayers, to follow us and like us on the page below. Also, feel free to visit our website at www.debtfreeresults.com. If you know somebody who is in need of a coach, who needs some guidance on how to get out of debt, please feel free to reach out to me. Refer them to our website, refer them to this page here, and if there's a way that I can help them, I'll be more than happy to, because that's what I do and I love what I do. So let's talk about how everyone's doing on your debt-free journey. I have some clients who are on baby step 1. I have some clients who are on baby step 2. I have some that are on 5, 6, and in number 7. And I have a couple of clients who are actually in the 5, 6, and 7 baby steps, where they're paying down their mortgage, and they'll be 100% debt-free in 7 months. So think about that. By March of 2025, they will have paid off all their debt, all their credit card debt, 2 tuitions, and their mortgage by March of 2025. And it's pretty amazing to see how excited they are from where they started to where they are now, and they see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's really it's a great process. So their tuition what was it? Their tuition is going to be paid off 23 years, 23 years early, and this process can be can be done, and you can do it as well. With my help, I'd be more than happy to show you how, and sit down with you and talk about what your numbers look like and where your debt is, and understand what your plan is on how to get out of debt. And if you need my guidance and my help, I'll be more than happy to help you out. But I have many clients on different baby steps. So even though there are 7 baby steps, there are actually, in my process, there are 8, but we'll talk about that shortly. And within each baby step, there are different stages. And so I have different clients, many clients who are in different baby steps and within different stages of those baby steps. Just stay focused on your baby steps. Stay focused on your debt-free journey. A lot of clients will, when I talk to them, they'll say, "So where am I in reference to your other clients?" I don't want you to do that, because everyone's baby steps and everyone's debt-free journey is special, and it's specific to your journey. I don't ever want my clients to compete with somebody else, because their journey is different from yours. Be proud of where you are in your journey. It's a journey that we together have worked on, and we have written this down, and we have agreed to the times and the dates and the expectations that you will fulfill within this journey. So just know that you're moving forward from yesterday to tomorrow. That's all your progress. And something else that I tell my clients when they're working on their journey is to not tell anybody what you're doing. Yes, if you're married, all my clients, if they're married, they come to me as a couple. If you're single, of course not. But don't go out and tell people, "Hey, I'm on a debt-free journey," or "Hey, I'm doing this," because whether they're family members or friends, there are always skeptics. And what I tell all of my clients is, wait until you've met your goals, wait until you're debt-free, and then turn around and say, "Hey, let me tell you what I've done. Let me tell you where I was and where I am now, and I'm 100% debt-free." Then they can't criticize you. They can't criticize or naysay the process, because everyone who's out there, not everyone, but a majority of the people who are out there will say, "Oh, that'll never work. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, no, blah, blah, blah." Whereas when you do this, and when you achieve your goals, and then you turn back to people and say, "Hey, I'm debt-free. I paid off 4 credit cards. I paid off my car. I paid off my tuitions, and the house is paid for." They can't say no. They can't say that the process doesn't work, because the process does work. And telling people, that you're doing this journey and that you're doing this process to become debt-free, if you tell people what you're doing, that just puts more stress on you. And you're stressed as enough. So you don't need additional, I'll say, peer pressure or peer stress or family stress on top of that. So I strongly suggest that you keep this to yourself, and when you're done, and then you tell them what you've done, then it's done. So, and they can't say you can't do it, because you can. I know you can. Millions of other people have done this. Millions of people are doing this. So people who say this can't be done, I say it can, and it is, and it's being done every single day. And I know that you can become debt-free as well. So stay on your journey. So I want to share something with you. Back in 2017, when my wife and I were in debt, and we went out and found a Dave Ramsey coach when we lived in Virginia, they were very helpful in reference to getting us out of debt. But before we started our journey on baby step one, I sat down with my wife and I said, what we should do before we meet with the debt coach is let's take a book very similar to this. In fact, this is the book. I found this on Friday while I was cleaning out my office, and this is why I'm doing this video right now. But what I wanted to do, and I had my wife do it as well, is for 2 weeks, I had this book with me in my briefcase and in the car, and we wrote down every single expense that we did during the course of a 2-week period. And I'll go through my notes to show you what I did. The numbers don't lie, and this process, this step added to the baby steps, opens people's eyes. A lot of people keep all their information up here. A lot of people don't write things down, and they should. So we call this, or I should say I call this baby step 0. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But I have my clients go out and get a little book like this and write down for 2 weeks before you meet with me everything that you buy, whether it's a candy bar, whether it's gas, whether it's lunch, dinner, groceries, doesn't matter. You write everything down in here. And if you do it the way I did it, and at the end of the 2 weeks, you see what you spend outside of your regular bills of your household, you see where your money's going, whether it's for good use or wasted money. So we'll go through this in a few moments. But we do that for 2 weeks, and then we come back and we sit down and we go over and we analyze the numbers. And if you write down every single thing, if you're honest with your book, then together we can sit down and analyze the spending habits of the family or yourself. And we analyze the numbers, and that's our baseline. And from there, then we go into the baby steps. But not knowing where we're spending money, it's, how can you start something if you don't know where you've been? So for 2 weeks, writing down all your spending habits is a great experience, and it brings a lot of value to this process. So it opened my wife's in my eyes, and like I said, I found my book on Friday when I was cleaning my office, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So remember, again, follow us and like us below, please. Also, again, I invite you to visit our website at www.debtfreeresults.com. In there, it talks about my process. It talks about the baby step process. But also there's a button there that you can schedule to have a 1-hour free consultation with me. And we can talk about what your issues are, what your debt is, what you want to do, what your goals are, and try to build a plan to see how my services can help you. If you know of somebody who needs help with a debt coach like myself, please refer them over to me. Again, I will help them any way I can. It's really a privilege to be able to turn to people and say, I can help you. I've done it. I have clients who are successful becoming debt-free because of this process, and it's really a joy of mine to be able to reach out and offer my services, my expertise as a coach to help people address debt, because we were never taught this in college or in high school or in grammar, middle school or whatever, on how to manage money. On top of that, no one ever taught us how to manage debt. And so being able to offer a solution, a process to be able to address debt, it's usually that big elephant in the room that everyone has debt. In fact, there's a study I read, and it was Forbes. Forbes magazine did a study back in 2023, and they came to the conclusion that 74% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And that, as we know, is because people are so reliant on debt. FICO score, credit cards, there's medical bills, there's tuition, there's car payments, there's personal loans, there's mortgage, there's insurance, there's all this stuff. And when I ask clients, do you have this written down? They point up here and say, no, it's up here. So having it up here is different from having it written down in a book. Having it written down in a book or having a budget, it takes all that stuff and puts it on paper so that you can look at it. And when you do this, it's not something that you just do for once a month. I look at our budget, and my wife and I look at our budget at least once a week to make sure that we are on our budget. If we're not on our budget, then we have done something wrong and we have to correct it. Because the numbers at the end of the month, if we run our budget correctly, we should be in the plus. A lot of times people have everything up in their head and they don't remember to pay this credit card or that credit card, and on top of that bill, then you get a late fee, and that late fee is $40, and if you have two credit cards, that's $80, and blah 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 blah. And before you know it, you have another $100 that you didn't budget for that's added to the credit card that has a 24% interest on top of that, and that just adds up and adds up and adds up, and before you know it, you're like, wow, how did I get here, and how do I get out of here? That's where I come in. I can help you. So, I am here. I will be more than happy to assist you in any way that I can, and showing you this process that I did, and I did it with my wife. It would, like I said, it was an eye-opening process. But back then, I would write down my credit card bills and then the dates that they were due. And so I look back and I look at this stuff, and one credit card I had $13,000 debt, another credit card I had $1,100 debt, this other credit card I had $11,500 debt. So I mean, it adds up. Not really looking at it until the bill comes in, and having it written down is two different things. I can look at this anytime I need to or I want to, whereas just looking at the bill when it comes in once a month, that's not good. So what I did back in 2017, I went and got this book, and I gave one to my wife. And what we did was we wrote down everything that we bought or paid money with, or a credit card. It didn't matter. I didn't write down cash or credit card or whatever. I just wrote down what I spent in the course of a day. And I have 2 weeks worth of information, but for this exercise, I'm just going to show you a week's worth. And When I looked at this on Friday, and then I looked at it again this morning, it's an eye opener. So on the Monday that I had started this, it shows that I went to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, and I spent $4.83 on a coffee and a Danish or whatever. I had to get gas, so that was $25. I had lunch at work, and that was $12.20. And then I had tolls that I had to pay because up in Virginia I had tolls to work, and that was $3.25. So on Monday I had spent $45.38. On Tuesday, again, I went to Dunkin' Donuts that day. I spent $6.92 there. I had my $3.25 on tolls. I went out to lunch and spent $17.10. I went to the store and spent $74.99 on groceries. And then I wrote down that I bought a Snickers bar for $2.10. So on Tuesday, and I didn't put these in a budget. This was just raw data. I spent $104.38. On Wednesday, Dunkin' Donuts for $4.83. Tolls were $3.25. I had lunch for $12.75. I went out and had a coffee for $3, and then I must have gone out after work and had 2 beers with some co-workers with a tip. That was $10. So on Wednesday I spent $33.83. On Thursday I had tolls for $3.25. I bought a dozen donuts for my team, which was $14, so it must have been a coffee as well. I had 2 sodas for $2, and then one of my coworkers' daughters were selling Girl Scout cookies, and I bought 3 boxes, and that was $16 for a total of $35.25. Friday, I spent $71.70. Tolls, I had breakfast, I gave a tip, I had lunch plus tip. I went out after work and had a couple of beers for $23, and then went out to dinner on the way home for $17. Spent $71.70. On Saturday, I bought coffee at Dunkin' Donuts for $5.50. I went to Lowe's and spent $68.99. I got gas for the lawnmower, which was $20 because I have a 5-gallon jug. I got gas for my car, which was $60. My wife and I went out to a movie for $20. We got drinks and popcorn for $14. And then after that, we went out to dinner, and that was $53 for a total of $241.49. On Sunday, I got a coffee. I went to church and put $10 in the basket. I wrote down that I went to BW's and had some beers. I wrote down football, so it must have been during football season, for $24. And I had wings for dinner, and that was an additional $16, and that included a tip for a total of $53. So this is when I added all these numbers up, and it's an eye-opener, and here it goes. So on Monday we did $45.38. Tuesday I did $104.38. Wednesday $33.83. Thursday was $35.25. Friday was $71.70. Saturday was $241.49, and then Sunday was $53, for a grand total of $585.04. That is 1 week of money spent. That doesn't even include mortgage, utilities, car payment, insurance payments, yada, yada, yada. So if that's 1 week's worth of spending, if I times that by 2, I mean, that's over $2,000 of just spending outside of my regular bills. So what I would do is take these numbers that I have, and then I would add these numbers here to a spreadsheet so that I could see that in a course of a week, I was spending about $25 or $30 just at Dunkin' Donuts. And whereas if I made coffee at home, I could save that money. So if, $20 or $30 a week on donuts and coffee, and I times that by 4, 20, 40, 60, 80, between $80 and $100 just on coffee and donuts alone. That's not even including, the soda or the candy bars or that type of stuff. So having this process before starting your baby steps, this is your baseline. This shows you where you're spending money. So if we have a baseline, then we can, with this information, we can go through and try to take out all the monies that, or the expenditures that we don't need. Going to Dunkin' Donuts, whereas I have a perfectly good coffee pot at the house, why wasn't I just making coffee and bringing it to work? I don't know. I mean, it was a long time ago, but my point being is that alone could have saved me a lot of money. Clearly, I had a couple of sodas. I don't drink soda anymore, but if that were the case, then I would go to Walmart and buy a case of soda and have it in the garage and bring those with me and save money that way. So the point is, this will help you. Do this for 2 weeks. See how it goes. Take a look at your numbers. See where you're spending money outside of your regular bills. If I went into more detail on the second week and showed you what I was doing, it's in part between $500 and $700 that, and I don't remember if I paid cash or whether it was on a debit card or if it was on a credit card. Back then, I don't remember offhand. But on top of those numbers, whatever I use for a credit card, then I have to, you think back and say, what was my interest rate back then? So if I was using a credit card for a coffee at $5 and I'm using a credit card, then I have interest on top of that. And if I don't pay that every month and that goes on, then that $5 coffee or $4 coffee, is now $4.22. And, it snowballs. So this is why I added baby step 0 to the baby steps, so that we could have a baseline as to where we are and what we're doing and where we're spending money. And that's what I can help you with. Not knowing what to do or where you're spending money. If you have income, then we can build a budget that works within your means, so that you manage money instead of your money managing you. And that's one of those mindsets up here that you have to think about, is people have to take control of their debt. They have to take control of their money, because right now money controls you. Everything that you do is managed by money. That or your debt. Everything is managed, your debt manages you. So let's take control of debt. Let's start with a good baby step 0. Let's, for 2 weeks, write down every single purchase that you make. I don't care if it's a stick of gum or dinner at a restaurant with family members. Just later on at night, be honest with your purchases, write it down. tell your spouse, tell your wife or your husband, what you bought or what you purchased, whether it's, a slice of pizza at lunch or coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. The numbers don't lie. And then we'll have a roadmap, and we'll have a budget, and we'll have a time frame, and we can figure out how to address debt so that you can get out of debt in a timely manner. It might take weeks, it might take months, it might take years, but that doesn't matter. If you know that you have you will be debt free. In this case, with my clients in March of 2025, that's light at the end of the tunnel. Then all their money that they make can go into savings. So, they're being they're going to be okay at the end of the day, because once they're debt free, they have no bills. They won't have a mortgage. They will have insurance, of course, but they don't have car payments. They don't have tuition payments. They don't have credit card payments because they pay with a debit card or cash. Everything is, they know what's coming in, and they know what's going out in reference to money. So they manage their money instead of the money managing them. So I hope this was helpful. Again, follow me, like us on this page, refer us to people who are in debt. I mean, if 74% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, then this is not a very, this is a pandemic, my opinion. Everyone, if you think about all of your neighbors out your door and out your wherever you live, people are living paycheck to paycheck. And, I saw something on video, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. There was a guy who, I guess last year or 2 years ago, he made an online purchase at Walmart for his groceries for, I think it was a week or a month. It was a week, and it was like $100. And then on the Walmart website, there was a button that said, do you want to repurchase? And for that exercise, the guy said yes. And it showed the $104 purchases, which were now $400 and something purchases. So inflation and bills, costs have gone up so much that this guy was shocked at the cost difference. And that's why, writing things down is a great step, and it's great in this process. So, again, thank you for your time. I hope you're having a nice holiday weekend. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. This week is going to be a short week, so there's a benefit for everybody. But again, like us and follow us on this page below, please. Refer us to people who may or may not have debt. Kids, college kids, people who are just out of college, friends, neighbors, whatever. I'm here to help. And it's not that hard to be able to sit down and offer value in reference to becoming debt-free. God bless. I hope that you have a great day. I know that you can stay on your debt-free journey. If you have questions, go to the website at www.debtfreeresults.com. Send me an email. Send me a question. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Like us and follow us on this page below. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and YouTube. So thank you very much for your time. Have a great day. And again, happy Labor Day. Bye, everyone.